Today's a special day. We are recording this on Wednesday, October 30th. Hopefully this came out on time. I'm sitting here with the guru, and we got a really tough book to show you.
Yeah, this is today, the 80th anniversary of Daring Mystery Comics #1. Okay, this is issue number 4 here. And I got to tell you, if you like the tough book shirts, you're going to love the really tough book shirts. No, but
He's just kidding. But if you want a tough book shirt, well, we do have those. But tell us about this comic book.
So this one is issue 4, but issue 1, like I said, came out 80 years ago, and it was the third timely ever published, and it was also the first Alex Schomburg art. All right, this cover is just fantastic because, well, we'll show you close-ups of it. You have a guy with a hammer about to get nailed. I'm going to pull it down just to really describe it to you. I have a guy strapped to barrels of TNT with masked, hooded robbers who are trying to steal from this U.S. gold bank. Okay, so it's kind of a crime cover, but man, I've always loved this book, and I can't believe when I purchased it that I had the opportunity to get it at 6.5.
That's super high grade, man.
It is, because the second highest copy ever recorded sold was a 6.5, with a 7.5 higher. And for this book, I mean, some books are worth $80,000. Okay, this book is not it. Okay, it's not worth that, but it's worth a good coin, and I wouldn't pass it up because I couldn't replace it really.
Okay, so if I offered you, let's say, 4,000, you say no to 4,000. Okay, so that kind of puts some perspective, but it's kind of serendipitous that you would bring that here today.
Whatever you say, I'm just gonna say no.
Okay, there you go.
Because I just can't replace it.
You're not going to replace it. But why is this interesting that you brought that here today?
The crazy thing about today is I didn't even know about that 8th anniversary until I pulled up to the home here.
Yeah, we were looking up online, and he's like, holy crap, October 30th.
Yeah, because this book was just something I was bringing to show to you guys because it was just dope in so many fashions here. Okay, so for it to actually overlap, out of all the Golden Age books, of all the moments I looked on my IG, all right, to find out that this is the 80th anniversary today as we're recording this is crazy odds for that to occur.
That's why we got the darn comics sitting in front of the Overstreet price guides with, of course, Cosmic Ghost Rider holding it up. We have a packed show for the comic fam today. Hit the subscribe button. We cover comic book themed articles and news and the collectible market every single week. Jeff, what's on the list of topics today?
One of the topics we have to discuss on what I think is a pretty entertaining show coming up here are the Iron Man 2020 variants.
Oh my gosh, this is pretty funny. We got a lot of gears to get into. We're also going to be touching on the death of Galactus. Yeah, that happened this week, and I'm excited to talk about it. And we also have some rumors, some speculation happening. DC Comics and HBO. We got to get into it. But before we do that, we got to talk about something pretty important here. We're going to talk about damaging comic books.
It happens, and it happens so quick, and there's no going back.
That's true.
You can't do like a Control-Z here.
How many times, though, do you feel like you wish you could?
A lot.
It legit, like I legit have a feeling of Control-Z when I'm messing with comic books sometimes. I'm cleaning, I'm pressing. As comic book collectors, being part of the hobby, this is something that we've learned to do. And there's actually, I have to say, there's a interesting amount of individuals that I'm seeing on Instagram and YouTube starting to do it themselves, taking it upon themselves. This used to be a part of the hobby, part of the trade that was kind of kept secret.
Are we getting into pressing here?
Ooh, you know what? Let's save the pressing talk for our after show. How about that? Because we have some, because I got some pressing mistakes.
Yeah, pressing mistakes.
We all got them.
All that stuff. That's a whole nother.
Okay, so we'll table the pressing stuff.
Yeah, but if we just want to talk about handling books in general,
yeah,
like it's easy to make a mistake. I mean, I've gotten much better to the point where I don't feel like I've made a mistake in a long period of time. But that's like me having experienced so many mistakes in my time to realize I need to slow down.
Right.
Okay, these are where mistakes happen, and this is when it's dangerous. So when I get to those points, I slow it down. I always take my comic out the same way. I don't pretend that I'm like the fastest trigger in the world and I'm going to zip out a comic from a bag and keep the tape on the top flap.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that kind of stuff, man.
And I especially don't do that with somebody else's book.
Oh, I go out of my way, man. I'm like, I'm going to remove the tape. I'm going to put that tape either not even on here. I'm going to put it over here. You shouldn't even be using tape. Or I'm going to put it underneath. I'm going to use the giveaway today. Comment down below. We're going to be giving this away. This is from Godly Comics. This is a San Diego Rogue variant. But I will like take the tape off and put it on the side of the comic before I get into it if it's owned by somebody else.
Whatever you do, do the same thing over and over and over again. Don't mix it up. That's just the way you do it. I always take the tape off.
Don't get fancy.
Yeah, don't get fancy, Nancy. Put it on the side of the book, or not the book, obviously, but of the bag.
Yeah.
Pull your book out, okay, and then put it aside, and just do the same thing over and over again. And that way, you shouldn't have any errors.
Dude, the day that you don't do it is the day you get tape on the comic book. Every single time.
Yeah, like a lot of these newer books, they have enough gloss. You can maybe take it off. I deal with a lot of older books. You get it on the book, it's like...
You can get lucky, man. And the main thing is to take it slow, you know? Take it slow, heat it up if you have to, if you really screwed up. But we've all done it, man. If you accidentally harmed a comic book, whether it's just mishandling it or pressing and cleaning and going through the process, we'd love to hear your stories in the comment section below. But it happens to the best of us. You know what? It's something that we have to admit because we're dealing with expensive stuff, but we deal with a large quantity of it. So there's a lot of opportunities for minor mistakes.
Yeah, I remember being at a con, and I'm just looking at a book, and I'm taking it out of the bag. And the lady there who's monitoring the booth, she's like, okay, can you please be careful with the tape?
Sure.
I was like, absolutely. I'll be absolutely careful. Okay. No problem. I know how to handle a comic. And as I say that, some rustling goes on in an aisle, like a squabble or fight. Okay. And we all look over. I was like, wow. Okay. Whatever. And I go look down, and the tape flapped onto the book.
Oh, no. You looked away. You were distracted.
I looked away, like as I talked, and I didn't pay attention.
How did you feel?
I felt awful because she just told me to be careful,
and you're like,
and I was being careful.
Like, I'm fine.
Yeah, and I got this. Like, I mean, come on, I know how to handle a comic. And sure enough, it's on the book, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, okay, and then I'm just like, oh, you know what? It'll come right off. It's just barely flapped on, and I'm carefully moving off, and as I'm carefully moving off, carefully the yellow is coming off the cover.
No.
And I was like, ugh, I just dropped my head again. I was like, there's no winning this. I was like, listen, can I just give you money to not buy this? I want to try to, like, what does it cost for me and for dropping the value of the book and, you know, the money difference for the damage towards the value.
Okay, so this is a really good thing. I've never really thought of because I haven't been in this position, but when you're dealing with a really expensive comic and you accidentally harmed it and you're in the middle of the transaction, this is something that you do. Like sometimes, like you got to get out of the transaction if you can, because you're not committed.
Yeah, and I asked him, I was like, look, I'll buy the book. That's fine.
Yeah,
you know, but if I can, I'd rather just pay a difference in damage towards
for the
mistake.
Book.
Yeah, for the mistake. I think the book was like it was like $150 or something.
Okay.
All right, so I ended up giving the guy $60.
Because you're paying more than the harm you did.
Yeah, I mean, it cost some damage, remove color. I was like, okay, thank you. Give the money. I was like, and then, you know, I felt bad and just kind of walked off like a schmuck. And
it's a reminder, though, you know, because this stuff happens to the best of us, even in moments where you think you're going out of your way to prevent it. I sold early years of cleaning and pressing, I had sold a comic book, and there was just a little scuff on some white. I can't even remember the comic book offhand, but I remember that it had sold. It was a $30, $40 book, something like that, but it had some scuff on it. And this is one of the things that I've learned since then, that when you're trying to remove something from a book, especially something on color or white, just really in general, you're trying not to remove color, any ink. You don't want to do it in a circle, and hard, because that, you know, you wash your face, you're told, you don't got to wash it in a circle motion. It lifts, especially ink. It'll lift the ink. So I'm like, oh, there's just some minor scuffs. So I'm like, I'll just do that really quick. And then boom, I ruined it. And I'm like, oh, and I sold it as a near mint, and I can't in good faith send this to him because it, like, legit, man, it was like a good chunk of ink missing there. So I just sent it to the person for free and was like, I apologize. I was trying to help you out. I sold it as near mint. I wanted to be good by it, but I did see something there, and I didn't feel right sending it to you and having you be upset, but I ended up ruining the comic book. So here you go. It happens.
It does. Like, I mean, the whole thing I had was a while ago, so I try to always stay focused no matter what, because there's a lot of distractions in the environment that could just get you away. I mean, you could be drinking your water, drinking some coffee, dribble on a lip onto a book.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, where you're so focused. Ever accidentally just drool? Have you ever just accidentally just drooled accidentally?
Oh man, I'm like, when I'm dealing with something super expensive that I'm taking care of, I got gloves on because I don't want to risk anything, and I have to stay away from it, from sweating, man. There's times where I'm removing a sticker or something, and I feel beads of sweat, and I'm like, oh my God, that's how it happens. That's how it happens. You don't think about it. The fight breaks out like you just described. Or you sweat or you accidentally touch it and you didn't realize you had a little oil. Like it's like just a little bit, you know, you were eating some food or something. You didn't realize it. Like you gotta be super careful with this stuff.
Absolutely, man. So I can't wait to talk about the after show when we're talking about pressing stuff.
Oh, because I've ruined some
or
books,
dry
man.
cleaning even.
Yeah, both. Well, we'll get into both. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that that's the only thing on subject right now for the after show because I feel like we're gonna go off the rails with it. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun time. Available on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and of course SoundCloud because we're SoundCloud supporters. We love us some lo-fi hip hop. Let's move on to the next part of the show. We have a key collector alert, but a couple of them this week. First off, we're going to let you know that Key Collector is a sponsor of the show. If you use code TOM101, go right to the homepage. There's a Comic Tom logo right there. You click on that. You put the code in, you get a free week subscription. You get key alerts. These are important alerts you should know about if you want to be up on the comic book industry and what's happening. You know, stuff's changing every day. Comic books going up in value, changing in price. This is the best way to keep track of it. And we have some HBO announcements hitting this week that we got to get into.
Yeah, I was under the impression DC would keep things more in-house, but it's looking like they're partnering up and pushing more of their content possibly on HBO. And maybe that's just because they feel it's more of established for now. And I don't know if we're going to see down the road like the same Netflix situation. You know, you have content on a Netflix and then it gets so hot and popular, you're now going to pull it away and bring it towards your streaming service. And maybe DC just needs to do that to build their fan base.
Maybe. I think right now this is a very unique situation because what is being reported, this is from Deadline, first off, Green Lantern and Strange Adventures. Greg Berlanti and DC go cosmic for HBO Max. So let me read you the announcement that Deadline is reporting. And Deadline is a very credible site. This is where a lot of these news alerts break. And there's some interesting verbiage used here that I want you to pay attention to. So it says here, television super producer Greg Berlanti, ever expanding screen interpretations of the DC Comics universe is going cosmic with 2 new series for the HBO Max streaming platforms, Strange Adventures and a Green Lantern. I want you to focus on these next 2 words here. Inspired show. What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what inspired means. And all I can come to conclusion-wise is I feel that we'll have a Green Lantern show that will not be driven maybe by a comic, but maybe a standalone and a new story that maybe we're not all familiar with, which is fine. I don't really care how I get my characters as long as it's good and it keeps the characters alive, it keeps interest in them. For me, that's the most important part. I don't necessarily care as much for it following some story arc in a comic. If you can convince me on the screen, which I find to be a separate and different medium, that's where I need my convincing when I'm watching a TV or a movie. In the comics, I need a different convincing. And as long as I can get both, I'm happy.
Totally agree with you, Jeff. Look at Watchmen. Look at the Joker. These are comic book intellectual properties that were given to a writing team to put on the screen. And then they were focused on making a good product, a good film, a good story, and they made money. And now they're going to make more. So, although we're seeing key alerts with recommendations and rumors about where you can kind of spec on, I mean, if we're thinking Green Lantern, I'm thinking we should talk to Ryan, Fire Guy, next week about this because he's a big Green Lantern fan. A lot of people thinking, oh, it's got to be Blackest Night if they're going full Green Lantern story. But because they're saying inspired, that tells me that this is really early and it could be anything. But this is some more quotes from this release Tuesday at the HBO Max Warner Brothers Day presentation. This is Berlanti. This is what he said. Both of these original DC properties we'll be creating for HBO Max will be unlike anything seen on television. An anthology series of cautionary tales set in a world where superpowers exist and in what promises to be our biggest DC show ever made, we'll be going to space with a Green Lantern television series, but I can't reveal any more about that just yet. All right? This is exciting stuff. Strange Adventures, you got Deadman. You got
Adam Strange. You have Hawkman in Strange Adventures. You have Animal Man. I mean, you have a plethora of characters in that run in the comics. So who they're going to bring will be interesting and fascinating. But I'm open to the idea. I'm excited. And again, I'm all about, hey, something new. I will believe you until you give me proof to not like it. And right now, okay, I don't know if this is a positive or negative. I'm thinking more negative, but when you're advertising this HBO Max and you're telling me you're going to have all of the DC live action movies on there, you got to be careful saying that, because that might be a bad,
It might not
bad
be
way to advertise.
That may be a bad thing. But you know what? Now that we see HBO Max and DC properties crossing over there, I think that it's really important to take a look at the key collector category. It's HBO/DC rumors, because we're only focused right now on these like superhero comic books. And DC has so many titles that have been rumored to hit some type of television adaptation. Well, maybe this is where they're going. Maybe this is where we're going to see Transmetropolitan. We've heard rumors of this show being optioned and that it's coming somewhere. It makes more sense that HBO is where it'll land. And I'm not just talking that. What about like American Vampire? I mean, there's a handful of shows that have been rumored that would fit perfect on HBO. The Invisibles, for example. Now, there are other comic books that I want you, the community, to be considering that I'm looking at, and they're all in this category. Use that code Tom101. Let's move on to the next part of the show.
Giveaways.
All right, who's winning the Spider-Gwen signed by Sean McGuire?
Jabroni.
All right, who's winning the Absolute Carnage that was drawn by Donny Cates, but it's also signed by Donny Cates and signed by Ryan Stegman?
That is you, Mr. Alex Estrada.
And then we have Troy Javis, who is winning the Savage Dragon 1 signed by Eric Larson. Let's talk about Iron Man 2020. How do you sum this up? Because when we chatted about this Spider-Man 2020 outfit, we kind of made jokes about it. And I didn't realize that we were playing right into the whole like marketing and what this whole thing was. Can you explain why is this important? Iron Man 2020, what is going on, Jeff?
Well, Marvel is gearing up, if you will.
It's a good way to put it. Why gears? What's going on?
Okay, so this is a playback to a comic in 1984. Machine Man, what number was it?
Issue 2. It's Machine Man 2020, the second volume, issue number 2.
Number 2. And we see an Iron Man in the future, 2020, of what he looks like.
All right, and this is not Tony Stark. This is his cousin.
It's his cousin?
Yeah.
Cousin Arno Stark.
That's right.
And not like Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, but this is Arno Stark.
Yeah, but what makes him notable is his costume design. First off, any Iron Man diehard, I'm talking pre-Iron Man movies, pre-Robert Downey, what grade would you put Iron Man as far as like a fan favorite? Because right now he is A-list. He is up there with Thor and Captain America. The guy saved the world in Avengers Endgame. So like, where would you have placed him prior to all that?
Iron Man has gotten a revival. Let's be realistic here. The movies have boosted his popularity.
Right.
There's no way to convince me different. Before that, though, I would say he was more of a B-, C+ character.
Right. I think saying a B- is being generous. I would put him around the C level, but yeah, B, right around there. He wasn't the most respected superhero as he is right now. Well, when Iron Man 2020 landed, this was definitely something that people pointed to and kind of made fun of, because this character design, how do you even describe this character? Because he's got these like, he's Iron Man, okay, but he's got these like shoulder pads that aren't shoulder pads.
No, they're giant cogs. Okay, they're huge gears.
Like giant gears.
Like spacely space sprockets from Jetsons, just big old gears. And
it's like he's wearing weights or something.
Yeah.
Like tires on your arms for no reason or something like that.
And I could see maybe in the 80s, it makes it look futuristic when this is out and it's bulkier. So
he's supposed to be like a paid assassin though. So he's got to be stealthy, right? No, he's got to get my metal suit on with my gears.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be stealthy. He just got to be big, destructive, and just whatever is near me is going to get blown up.
Okay, well, what's going on? Because he's called Iron Man 2020. So what's Marvel doing?
So Marvel has variant covers playing off of this gear concept with its characters.
That's right.
So we're going to see a Hulk. We're going to see Spider-Man, which we saw.
Let's go through the different variants. We're going to describe them for our audio members here in length, specifically about the gears, because it's all about the gears. But aside from them doing this like variant of the geared costumes because it's Iron Man 2020. Like in January, it's going to be January 2020. So they're bringing it back because Arnold Stark is from the future where robots are starting a war, and he's in this costume. He's going to help fight this war. Well, they're bringing the war to Iron Man 2020 issue 1 that's coming out in January, celebrating it. We have all these variants. All right, so let's pull this up here. I'm going to put the link in the bio. This is to comicbeat.com, but they have all the 2020 variants. We're going to describe it for the audio fam, though. So, again, all about the gears. So when we tell you that this comic book that we're looking at is Doc Ock, it looks like Doc Ock, but he's got gears.
Yeah, we're looking at this advanced futuristic Doc Ock who has kind of these big clamps.
Yeah, it's his octopus arms at the hands of his arms, but they're like actual clamp mechanisms, like a gear, they got the edges to them. I think this is a cool looking Doc Ock. He's got this like extra armor on.
Yeah, he's got the appropriate underbite. I don't know what that's about.
He's got a weird underbite, actually. What's up with this guy's underbite? I didn't even realize that looking for these gears. He's got to go to the dentist for that, man.
He does. Look at this next one. Okay.
We
Can
got
you
Black
spot
Widow.
the gear? Now, this is a little more unassuming.
Some of the gears are hidden.
Yes.
Some of the gears you can't really find as quickly, but we have a futuristic Black Widow. First off, love her hair. Her hair is gorgeous. It's red. It's short. It's cool looking. But where is the futuristic aspect of Black Widow here?
I'm a big nay on her hair, first of all.
You don't like her hair?
No, man.
You're saying no to the hair. Okay, Jeff doesn't like the hair.
But the gear, do you guys spot the gear?
Where's the gear, Jeff?
Check the gun.
The gun has gears on it. The gun has the gears. And you know what? I think that this is a good use of the gear because you know what? They could have given her gear earrings. Instead, they just gave her these like it looks like a chip, like a memory card or something. I'm not really sure how to describe that, but she's also got a belt with like a motherboard on it. So anyways, I think it's cool looking. I think this is a cool cover, but it's not as cool as this one because it's another hidden gear variant. This is a 2020 variant, but it's like kind of hard to find the gear here. We have Black Cat.
This feels like it coincides with Black Widow.
Right.
Very well. She's looking super sleek and powerful and sexy on her motorbike. And she's sitting on a motorbike, and you could tell that's freshly peeled out. That you got steaming muffler and steaming tires still, and a destroyed Spider-Man robot on the ground, and she's just kind of looking down on it.
That's
and
right.
and Tom,
she's holding the Spider-Man head of the robot, and she's looking badass.
And the head is still even attached with this long cable to the body. I mean, it's awesome. And the background is great and subtle, and just kind of this hazy kind of disappears, but the details there.
You mentioned it before. It's hard to find the gear on here, but the gear is right there on her shoulder. It's like an emblem. So respect to the game here. Instead of focusing on the gear itself, the focus is on the robot because that is what the 2020 event is about the robots being sentient and causing a problem. All right, let's look at the next one. This is kind of funny. This is Elektra. And first glance, Elektra looking pretty cool. She looks badass. I mean, you don't want to mess with her. The gears, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, again, we got these arm gears. I'm not an assassin or a ninja, just so you guys know. But I don't feel like that's makes you very ninja capable.
Yeah, I think it would get in the way a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you got to grease the gear. You got a gear belt. And
why does she have a gear belt? And wait a minute. Her hat is metal.
Yeah.
Is she wearing a helmet?
She's wearing a helmet.
Why? Elektra should never be wearing a helmet, man.
And then like cloth ribbons off the back of her helmet.
Okay, so it's a little strange. It's like a metal suit with gears and a helmet. I'm not sure if this is how I like my Elektra, but I'm open to it.
They're sticking with it, man. They're committed to the gear versions of it, which I love. I don't know if they're really going to be like that in the comic, but I like how they're just playing with the variations of gears to tie it all in.
Okay, the next one you got to check out, though, because there's a couple other ones. And again, hit the link. You can see all of them. There's a lot of these variants, but this next one I thought was hilarious. We got Guardians of the Galaxy.
And Beta Ray Bill.
And he's got the arm gears as well. Even Beta Ray Bill, when they go cosmic, and he's fighting Cosmic Ghost Rider, mind you. He's got to have the gears. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then, of course, you got to have the big green machine, the Hulk.
Yeah, Mortal Hulk got the variant too. There's a
Yeah.
lot of these. It's awesome. But it's silly. I mean, he's got this this is kind of scary looking, man. The Hulk is scary as it is. We're going to talk a little bit in a second about how scary the Hulk can get. But man, like this gear on his side, he'll either clobber you, Thing style, squeeze you to death with this like metal arm, or it's like this razor blade type of thing on his shoulder. So instead of it just being a gear, it looks like a sharp gear.
Yeah, it's like...
It can ram you like Rhino or something.
Seriously, I mean, it's just like but that's his blind spot now. You see, he's got a big shield over there. So if I'm
That's why he has this little thing on his eye. He's got this little eye patch. So yeah, it's a blind spot, but he has this like...
He needs a robotic eye because he got blindsided there.
Yeah, he's got okay, this Hulk has a robotic eye. I'm curious if this is the first time that this has happened. Okay. Now we also have, of course, the infamous, this is the first one that was released, Spider-Man 2020 variant. I think this one takes the case for being the silliest. I want you to keep in mind the man bun. We're going to be talking about characters and their hair a little bit later on the show. But this was just silly. Like this was just, all right, we need you to go all out with the gears.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, so you guys can't see. He's got like 4 mechanical arms off his back. Okay?
It happened.
I knew it was going to happen.
Is it safe?
It's safe.
We're keeping it. Let's put it over there, though, just in the future. Okay. What do we got here?
All right, so we got Spider-Man with this man bun, and he's got these 4 mechanical arms coming off his back. Okay? And looking more insect-like.
Yeah. They're kind of small. I think that's a big part of this. It's not like Doc Ock where it's...
It looks like he's going to do like some type of advanced surgery with them.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to help him do much more than maybe wall crawl or tickle his opponent.
Yeah. And then he's got no sleeves, so it's like sun's out, guns out on his,
Sun's out, guns out.
his uniform.
Not how I want my Peter Parker.
No. And then like then he's got like his cheekbones are exposed. I mean, take a look. His cheekbones are exposed.
Yeah, his cheekbones were... What is that? Like it's like a little, I don't know. That's
ventilation maybe. It gets hot in
it gets
gears.
hot. Well, he's like lugging around knee gears, a butt gear, a back gear. I'm surprised they didn't give him elbow gears, but you know what? It's what it is.
Well, he's also got a V-neck pop collar shirt for
he
2.
does.
What is that?
It's a Morbius shout out, kind of a vampire vibe going on there, but it's really silly. But again, keep in mind, this whole thing is about it being kind of silly. All right. But it wouldn't be complete without a Venom 2020 variant. What's going on with Venom here? Describe this. Because he's got gears.
Yeah, he's got gears. So this is an angry Venom. All right. He's in the classic crouching pose and screaming to the moon and yelling. And he's
got a lisp because his tongue is so long.
Yeah, he hasn't retracted his tongue. It's just hanging out there.
He's got like almost gear-like symbiote needles coming out of his tongue, but the real like gears on this costume is also found on the shoulders. So shoulder gears are a big thing in 2020.
Yeah, shoulder gear is a big deal. And imagine having a bolt and then needing a nut to screw on this bolt. It's like a big nut on his shoulder with glow sticks coming out of it.
That's right. Green glow sticks.
And it just seems like he's yelling because he can't get into the rave club.
That's right. Techno
gears?
Yeah.
Techno gears.
Techno
That's what
gears.
we got. We have techno gears here. We have bioluminescent techno gears.
That's right. Iron Man 2020 happening in January. I'm hyped. I'm going to read it. It's silly. And now let's move on to the next part of the show because we got Galactus dying.
Again, at the time of this recording, people are just picking this up today, but this is Marvel's celebration, their Halloween celebration. Okay, Marvel Zombies Resurrection. It's a retelling of the fan favorite horror series.
We've been getting teased about this comic book coming out for quite some time, but they've also been dropping news that Galactus was going to be dead. Well, we got some early panels being shown, and there's a reason why I want to talk about this, but how dope is this, Jeff? What do we have on the screen in front of Reed Richards? Please describe it.
We got this massive Galactus shadowy figure floating in space.
Surrounded by planets, and then this is what the panel says, and this is what's got people excited. It says, Galactus. The coordinates are just outside our solar system. Galactus was heading towards Earth. was heading? Well, he appears not to be moving. So this got me thinking a couple things. First off, how freaking cool is it to think about a dead Galactus just in space? Can you imagine what that would look like from Earth or like from a planet you're looking up and you see this just like giant hovering lifeless body, this huge helmet?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Macy's parade concept, you know? You got this huge balloon. So just imagine that on a grander scale as you're sitting in a crowd and this figure comes floating slowly over you in a frozen stasis.
Just like blocks out the sun or your suns for a little bit of time. You're like, oh yeah, there's just that weird thing body that's just floating through the cosmos.
Yeah, it's dark for like 2 days straight because he's huge.
Yeah, like you have to think about just how large this character is. And this has gotten me excited for a couple of different reasons. For one, I saw this panel and I'm like, oh, I'm going to I got to read this. I want to read this now. This has got me excited. It took 2 panels, like one large panel, but like 2 different scenes to get me to like really want to just commit to purchasing this. And I had this moment happen last week with Immortal Hulk issue 25. I got to the end of Immortal Hulk and there is a few pages where Hulk is just, spoiler, but I waited a week to talk about this. I mentioned it on the top 10 and said, this is one of the coolest moments that I've seen the Hulk have in a comic book in a really long time. How would you describe this? When the Hulk goes cosmic in Immortal Hulk issue 25 and he essentially becomes Galactus.
Yeah, you showed me this panel here, okay? And it was, he's scary already, Hulk, at his strength. So to have him be Galactus size, ripping through the cosmos, and it was a huge Hulk having moons and planets just evaporating as they contacted him.
Like on his shoulder and like imagine how the size of this creature, this monster has to be. And he's just charging through space, just destroying planets by just running into him because he's so giant. It's kind of like messes with your brain a little bit of like how large you would have to be. So I'm seeing this here. I'm thinking about Immortal Hulk and it just gets me excited about comic books. Like it's these types of moments where you just go like, mind blown again. You know, it's why I love the hobby and the medium.
Yeah. I mean, you can communicate images like this much easier on paper and almost more believable than you can onto film or screen.
Very true.
It's a nice way to suspend belief and to really get you thinking. And I also start wondering, like, usually when someone, like, passes away, like Galactus Dies, you'd, like, defecate. Your intestines and bowels release. So imagine being, like, that planet in that region when that happened. Like,
that's some dark stuff you just turned this into. But you know what? Now we are all thinking about that. So, yeah, maybe.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome, comic fam. Okay, let's jump into some viewer comments. We love viewer comments. One, we really do appreciate it when you interact, and we love reading your responses and let us know what you think about the show, what kind of comic books you picked up every week. And you know what? We have this giveaway, as I mentioned. We also have a copy of Sad versus Sistine the Sick. It's a one-shot done by a very talented independent comic book writer and horror rapper, Illust Umanati. What's our first viewer comment?
First viewer comment is from Sal Felix.
That's right. What does Sal say? He says, that kid with the Hellboy poster was cool before all of us. Love the longer video format too. Sal Felix, I made a mistake. I said that this kid owned the poster. All I had seen was that page spread of the Hellboy poster, and it happened so quick. I wanted to read it. So I went and got a copy. I read it, and it turns out that this was a poster within a comic book store where they sold dollar bin comics within the comic Next Man issue 14. So this is literally comic book marketing in a comic book store that's in a comic that was sold at a comic book store in 1993 in April.
Yeah, that makes it better.
That does make it like way better. So anyways, thanks for the comment because I wanted to clarify that.
And that's for Next Man 14, by the way, that we discussed. So to get a little deeper into the story, it's a Hellboy poster, super early appearance.
That's right. Predates all other appearances of Hellboy, which is pretty crazy. Okay, let's take a look at Frank Rios.
You wrote, "Hey Tom 101, when will you have your dad on the show?
I know. We got to make it happen, man. We got to make it happen. He wants to come back, and we have a lot of fun stuff planned. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're actually making a lot more content. We're shooting to do a few more videos a week, specifically 2. That isn't a few. That's actually a couple. We're trying to do a couple more videos a week here pretty soon. We're gearing up for it. Literally, Ironman 2020 has got everyone gearing up. Let's move on.
I got my gear for the Seattle Sounders.
You do.
MLS Cup, baby.
Sounders.
Woo.
All right.
Sports ball.
Sports ball.
Checkered sports ball.
Isn't that soccer?
That is soccer.
Football.
Yes.
All right. Moving on.
That's
EA
right.
Elixir says, oh, the Bloodshot. Gotta say, I'm super stoked, but I'm way more happy that they didn't have him with hair. Thank Thor.
Thank Thor.
Bloodshot has hair in some renditions of the comic, especially the new one.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like in more of the kind of Bic look, shaved head.
You mean the Vin Diesel style? Because I also enjoy the shaved head.
Yeah.
I think it's way cooler.
I mean, maybe we can see some renditions. I can maybe see him with a man bun or like a
2020 Spider-Man man bun.
Yeah, or like some,
So good.
futuristic emo hair spike,
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Just Pele. This is what he commented on last week's show when we were talking about this rare Bloodshot issue 0 error print that is currently listed on eBay for $15,000 or $700 a month for the next 2 years. You can pick. This is what Just Pele said. There is more than one White Rye 0. I know this because I know a collector who has one, and it is not the one slabbed by CBCS. In fact, it is not slabbed at all. And someday, I'm going to get him to sell it to me. Now, Just Pele, he's a friend of the show's. He's been a supporter of the show for quite some time. This gentleman has actually helped me press numerous books because he is a very, very well-known comic book dealer in the community. And you know what? I can vouch for this dude. I 100% believe this. That means that there are likely other copies of this error print. If he says he's seen one and it's not slabbed, I believe that there are now 2 for sure without having even seen it, which means get to hunting.
Man, Just Pele, if you can score that book, that would be awesome. I'd love to see you with it. I can't imagine it's really worth the $15K that guy on eBay is asking, but boy, it's going to be an in-demand book for sure. Guys, thanks to the community. I want you guys to answer one question for me. If Bloodshot had to have some type of hairdo, what would you recommend?
That's right. We got giveaways. Make sure to comment and like and subscribe so that you can be part of the giveaway. And then we got to chat about, let's actually not chat about it. Let's just do it. We got a CGC unboxing. Let's make it happen.
Oh, yeah. Just got
Jeff,
this today,
what's
guys.
going on?
I literally just went to the post office today.
Okay,
it seems
let's
like every
show 'em off.
Wednesday I'm in the post office.
Okay, so what do we got first off? Because we're now when he gets this box, he's like, "Yo, can we open it on camera?" Because people ask in the comment section. We want to see more unboxings. So let's see what you pulled, and just explain just in detail the why and the story behind what you're about to show me here.
All right.
Ooh, and that right there is a first Cersei.
Yeah, Strange Tales 109, right?
Ooh, at 7.5. Okay. First, let me see it. That's cool. Let's just hand them over, and you talk because we got Werewolf by Night graded at 8.5. Neil Adams, goodness, I want this book, dude.
Yeah, Marvel Spotlight
Dang.
number 2, first Werewolf by Night, 8.5 old label, nice looking book. We can use a little dry cleaning on the back. I don't know. I really wanted to get into a nice copy, so I did it. I bought it. That one I just bought outright. Okay. These are ones I had slabbed, so I have actually 2 copies of this.
Ooh, I think this is a good book to be buying right now because I've heard that they want to do more Inhuman stuff because the first run didn't really work out too well. So a lot of people aren't speccing on this book, which now has this book at a kind of more affordable rate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 8.5 white. I have a 7.5 white as well.
First Black Bolt.
Yep, first Black Bolt. So definitely a key book.
FF46, love this book, man.
Yeah, so excited for that. That's about what I expected for both books.
And you got a 7.5 as well. So you got 2. You got an 8.5 and a 7.5. Why those books? Is it for that reason? Like they're just a good key book that you want to have in higher grade? Or
I have so many books that need to get graded that for those 2 were as I was running out of the house to New York.
Oh, okay.
I know they were both decent, so I grabbed them, slabbed them, and they're going to be easier to sell anyway.
Were any of these pressed?
Yeah, those were pressed. And this was a 6.0.
Ooh, fourth appearance of Silver Age Flash, Showcase 14 at 6.5. I've always loved this purple cover.
Yeah, that purple cover is really tough in nice shape. And
Can you describe it? This is the Hourglass Flash cover.
yeah, this is Flash in an hourglass, and he's jumping from the lower well up to the upper well of the hourglass. And like you mentioned, it's number 14. It was a 6.0 old label cream to off-white pages. I cracked it out and pressed it myself, expecting a bump in both page quality and grade. So it went up to 6.5 with off-white to white pages.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so excited for that book. This book I bought raw. Same thing, pressed it. I bought it as a 6.0 raw.
Yeah, first Circe. This is Strange Tales 109, graded at 7.5. So this is movie rumors. You know, Eternal's goodness, and it's coming. Jack Kirby's rendition here. You're gonna be holding on to it for the movie, right?
Yeah, I bought it at a con as it got announced, so I got a screaming deal on it. And 7.5 is a beautiful grade for that book.
Awesome. Well, I've always loved this cover, man. You got Hulk holding on to the Silver Surfer board. Actually, no. Let me rephrase that. He's holding on to Silver Surfer by the arm as they are going through the cosmos. It says, "He who strikes the Silver Surfer tells to astonish," issue number 93.
That is one loved cover. Most people attract themselves to that cover specifically for Tales to Astonish.
Which is interesting because it's kind of a brown cover, and that's typically the opposite for that color on covers for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful color strike, a nice book. Obviously, it's an 8.5, so happy with that.
Yeah, high grade, man. That's cool. It's a sharp 8.5 too.
And this book is a Golden Age book. It's actually an early Steve Ditko cover.
Yeah, he did art in it too. Oh yeah, cover and art.
He did the cover on it, and it was actually produced only with one staple. So that was interesting on that one.
Didn't get knocked for it, right?
No, I don't believe it did because it was more manufactured than anything.
Very cool. This is a
6.5 is a good grade for that book.
This magazine is Haunted, issue number 17. Bob Powell art and Steve Ditko cover and art. It's graded at 6.5. And it's got like two different people being, looks like attacked or haunted by a ghoul, looking up in the darkness, holding a match as it's lighting up the terror in the room.
I love his work in this title.
Oh, dude, my dad's got a great Avengers 2 story. He pulled one out of a long box, not bagged and boarded. Anyways, I'm holding an Avengers 2 right now. He just handed me 6.5. I love this book, man.
Yeah, 6.5. I think it's got white pages as well. It presents beautifully. It's got a couple small tears on the front cover, and I think they just got nailed for that. Otherwise, it presents like an 8.0 book. It's gorgeous.
Okay, I can see it from here. That's my favorite book in this whole pile. That's
Yes.
First Calendar Man. I love this book. All right, so this right here is the first Golden Age book that I bought myself. This isn't my copy. This is an 8.0 Detectives 259. This is the first appearance of Calendar Man. This is a OG villain, but a villain that gained more popularity when the video games hit, kind of like the late 2000s. And this is why I love this book. For one, it's tough. This is a tough book, man, to find in high grade. An 8.0, that's crazy. But let me read you the speech bubble here on the cover. The Calendar Man. "Get back, Robin. He's become a man of fire, like the summer sun. He's portraying." It's so silly. He's so hot. It's just ridiculous. I love it. But man, this is a cool book. What made you want to get this? Did you just own this or you picked this up?
Yeah, I had this. I don't know how I got this. I believe it came in a collection, and I've had it for a long time raw, and I've been meaning to get it graded. And I didn't have any luck selling it raw. Like I only broke it out a couple times. And then I was finally like, you know what? I'm going to press this myself. I'm going to grade it. If it comes back anything 8.0 or higher, I'm going to keep it. And sure enough, it came back 8.0 white pages. And it's these 50s DC books of Batman specifically are tough books in general to get in grade. A lot of mid-grade stuff. And it's a cool time frame for me personally. I love that.
Great color work. There's a lot of stuff going on the cover almost every time. A lot of fun stuff to look at. And I don't know, it's a unique genre of comic books because you have like such serious characters and then it's kind of silly things going on typically.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of on the cusp of DC's revival as superheroes are now coming back into trending in a positive way, as they did with Showcase 4 when you had the first Silver Age Flash. Like superheroes are starting to take off again as there's this long lull from like 55 and between 48 and 1955.
All right. Another character that saw some change was actually right here in Batman 251. The Joker is revitalized as a homicidal maniac. And some actually list this as the first modern rendition of the Joker done by Neil Adams. We have multiple copies going into the Mystery Mail Call, which is our comic book subscription service. You sign up, you join the community, we send you comics every month, and you help support the show. You also have a chance of getting a really cool book, like a big Grail book like this. We have a bunch of them, but every box gets an assortment of comic books, and everyone gets one comic book that is the same, and that is an Undiscovered Country Comic Tom 101 variant. Yeah, we have Scott Snyder and Charles Soule's up-and-coming independent comic book. Everyone's hyped on it, and we have a low-print variant that every member gets, and you only got a couple weeks to sign up and reserve your box. They're selling out quick.
I don't think there has been one exclusive that we've had that's been so in demand as this one, as I've had people reaching out to me asking to buy it.
They want to buy it directly.
Right, and unfortunately,
Answer's no.
We only have so many allotted specifically for the box. That's how limited this print run is for this specific variant.
After they, get sent out and we get the final numbers on print counts, we're going to release that information. But this one will have under 1,000 available for the community. So we are going to sell them out to the mail call, and then whatever we have left, we may have some left to put up on the website to sell. But that's all that we have. So we're going to reserve the exclusives for the mail call right now in the mail call community. So we're not going to list it to sell it. You got to buy the box, and the box is $30 plus shipping. So it's pretty affordable. I think the exclusive is better than the cover A of Undiscovered Country.
Absolutely.
Cover done by Dani of Coffin Bound.
It's a beautiful cover. I really wanted to buy the original art. Unfortunately, it's digital.
A lot of these are digital, my man. A lot of them are digital, but it's okay. It's okay. I want to talk about something really funny that was supposed to make the podcast a couple weeks ago, but it didn't because I don't know why I didn't bring it up. But I want to bring it up today because I think it's hilarious. Okay. Your uncle, all right? You want to tell him that you love him. He's an important person in your life. So you go to the store, go to the grocery store, right? And you're like, all right, I'm going to get my uncle a card. And all right, but I'm like superheroes. So I can tell you what card you don't want to get. You don't want the Spider-Man card that says, "Heads up, uncle." We have the accidentally depressing Spider-Man greeting card.
Yeah, and we only heard of this because it's something that went viral.
That's right. Firewalk with Mags. He posted this to Twitter and he said, "Grim." So why? Do I even have to explain this? I mean, everyone knows the Uncle Ben thing.
Yeah, Uncle Ben died. Okay, Spider-Man could have saved him, and he was murdered. Spider-Man feels guilty for it. Yada, yada, yada.
So basically, this is a kid saying, "Yo, uncle, heads up, you're going to die."
And this would not, you could have used any superhero and had that tagline. But the fact that you're using Spider-Man.
Yeah, you can't use Spider-Man.
Insinuates possibly something more morbid.
Yeah, it's like, yo, uncle, heads up. It's like either going to be Final Destination or I got a hit out on you. Something not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, heads up, uncle went viral. I really enjoyed this. I hope someone can find this card.
This would be like Iron Man saying, "Have a drink on me." Card. That's what it would be like.
Oh man, that's terrible. It's terrible. But you know what? It went viral for that reason. And you know what's also funny? I found I've always liked like deep superhero memes that, you have like the memes that people who go to movies, the MCU movies and stuff that they get, like the Endgame, the Snap in Avengers Infinity War, the memes that come out of that. But then there's also like comic book collector memes, like stuff that only diehard people of the hobby will know. And it's this kind of stuff that makes me laugh because this is something that most people would get, Uncle Ben and all that. But I've seen some pretty good memes in the past that are like, "Oh, that's a deep cut." And I get it and I love it.
Yeah, I love a good meme. I'm not going to lie.
All right, I'm excited about this next headline here. We have Marauders making news again. Marauders is one of the 5 titles post this whole Hickman X-Men run, the revitalization of X-Men, that's getting its own title, right? Marauders is going to be led by Kitty Pryde. And you know what? If you don't know about this comic book, just Google it. The summary of what's going on here is super exciting. That's not what this part of the show is about. We are talking about Kitty Pryde as a character. We have a article on comicbook.com that says Marvel's Marauders proves why Kitty Pryde is one of the X-Men's most powerful fighters. And I cannot agree more. I'm a huge Kitty Pryde fan. I think she's been underrated for a long time. And you know what? I don't even care, but I think of Ellen Page whenever I think of Kitty Pryde, and I'm also a huge Ellen Page fan. So what's up?
I like the character. She's got a huge fan base as well. She's got amazing abilities. And like most anybody, if you write it right and well, you can utilize those abilities in an amazing, fantastic way. And this is what they did with her, because they're showing exactly what she can do and how she can do it. And they're presenting it in a way that's super entertaining and almost playful.
That's right.
Yet destructive.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you think about it. Let's break it down, because what we have here is Kitty Pryde going up against of armed missionaries, individuals who are doing open fire right at her. She's in front. She's taking everybody on just herself. Now, Kitty Pryde's power is
she's able to become
like phase. She can phase through things.
Right.
That's
It's not invisible, but she can phase. Yeah. It's like battling a ghost.
Yeah. She goes through walls. That's typically how she's been utilized in the past, and how a lot of people know what they think of because of the movie. She runs through walls, saving people. Well, here we see why she is a dangerous fighter, because walking up to gunfire, those bullets are going to go right through you. And that's what happens here. We start off this page with her just having literal bullets just fly through her as if she was, Wolverine, and didn't care about it.
So like you mentioned, she's phasing through these bullets as she's approaching the gunman, all right? She gives him this freaking roundhouse, grabs his gun, pistol whips him with his own freaking weapon, all right, and asks him, I'm sure you're using, like, basically rubber bullets, not real bullets on these civilians.
Right?
Let's find out, and turns the gun at his leg or knee.
Dude, she caps his knee, and she's like, oh, guess not.
Yeah, she pulls some kind of mobster move and shoots this guy's kneecap out.
Kitty Pryde, open fire. Doesn't give a crap. She's gonna mess you up. You don't want to mess with this mutant. And then she does something that's just incredible. She takes that gun. If you think bullets hurt, imagine what a gun would feel like. Describe this panel, Jeff.
So she's not done. There are more to take out. So she has this gun in her arms, and she's just walking as these people are just firing through her, and she phases this rifle into two different people's legs.
Their upper thigh.
Yeah, right in their upper thigh.
And then just
let's go.
Oh.
So just to think about that for a second. Somebody basically takes their fist, phases it into your upper leg, and then unphases. And it's in there.
It's like idea that Nightcrawler could get stuck in a wall, like a fear of him not being able to phase through all the way. Well, she just phased through and left a gun in your thigh, and it's just it's so destructive and grotesque. And she's just like, "Yep, that's don't mess with me." But she's not done yet, because now she looks out into the distance and she sees a tank. These are a bunch of pages that they've released. I'm excited. These are technically spoilers. We probably should have mentioned that early on, but if you haven't figured that out by now, these are all spoilers. She's standing in front of a tank, and then she phases into the tank, drops the grenade, and then phases out. She's so dope, dude.
She is dope. And she does. It's not like she just has this grenade on her. I mean, this tank's rolling at her, and it phases her. They rolls into her, and she's phasing into it. And there's a guy operating this tank.
Oh, she's not going to use her own grenade.
No.
She doesn't have live ammunition.
I don't need it. I'm just going to take the pin in your grenade, and I'm just going to phase right out of this tank while you're stuck in here. And she's counting down. She goes 3, 2. She's outside now, 1. And the guy's still in the tank, and then goes off. And so, I mean, how cold-blooded is that? And she's just doing this so nonchalant.
Oh, yeah, she knows what she's doing, man. And she's awesome. And I'm so stoked about this comic book. We got Giant Size coming back. They're going to be releasing a Giant Size X-Men here really soon. We got all these X titles. I feel like Hickman brought X-Men back. Everyone's paying attention right now. And this book has got so many people's eyes on it. And I think Kitty Pryde's a big part of it. So this was a good move on Marvel to showcase some of her just awesome abilities and just how powerful of a just mutant she is, especially to those who are like, oh, Kitty Pryde's leading this, and this is going to be the main, one of the main pushes for this series. Well, yeah, she just got my vote.
She definitely turned it up a notch of just the coolness factor and just displaying exactly what she can do. And really, with Hickman's new, I don't know, world or of what he's building with X-Men, every book has the potential to be a hot book because anybody can come back to life now.
That's right.
So you're going to see faces you probably haven't seen in a long time.
Omega level mutants are being resurrected.
This is a great reason to have that key collector app. And I'm not just saying that because it's somehow related to the show. It really is a good way to stay notified, especially if you're not buying every title every Wednesday.
That's right. Keeps you up on like the larger aspect of like what's happening in comics. There's a lot of comic books. And if you use the code TOM101, you get a free week subscription. It unlocks the key alerts. It unlocks a lot of like speculation categories and rumor categories, things that can kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up. And it unlocks so much other stuff that it's going to be worth it. You're going to end up paying the $2 a month or $20 a year for the service because you're going to find one comic book that's going to make your collection awesome.
Let's talk about one of the largest podcasters out there who's got deep roots in other things too, in Ultimate Fighting.
That's right.
As well. Did a reality show, right? He hosted, what was it? That thing where you eat things you don't want to eat.
Fear Factor?
Fear Factor.
How did you forget the name Fear Factor? We're
I don't
talking
know.
about JRE, the GOAT. We're talking about Joe Rogan, all right? This guy is one of the main people we look at as like the podcasters of our time. Really, him and Adam Carolla pioneered this part of the industry.
So he is obviously uber famous.
He's a Frazetta fan.
He's a Frazetta fan, I guess. So that, hey, that's
and Conan and all that. He's really big into that like barbarian types of comics.
That I can see with him for sure. But like you have a one successful family member, okay? Yet in his family tree, his cousin is also very, very famous.
Yeah, we just found out today on Wednesday because of a podcast he did with Kevin Smith. I re-listened to it and it is hilarious. But Kevin Smith asks Joe Rogan, hey, this person that's in your family, her name is this. That means that it's the same name as Gerard Way's family member from My Chemical Romance. Are you guys related? And Joe Rogan said yes. He said he didn't know Gerard Way. They've never met, but they are indeed related.
And it didn't seem like it was that far removed either.
No, cousins.
Like not like fifth cousin twice removed, but like actually pretty close cousins. So it's surprising they don't even know each other.
And the reason why we're bringing this up is not so much because of the My Chemical Romance aspect of this, because both of these guys are like mega stars in their own field. But Gerard Way is killing it in comics. Like this guy has gone full comic book writer and he is just pumping out such good stuff. So I think it's really cool to see like a connection to the podcasting game now and to such a large YouTuber and podcaster. Like we got Joe Rogan talking about Gerard Way. Like pretty soon we got to get like Joe Rogan in some capacity talking about comic books. Like I don't know how we can do that, but we just got to start sending him Conan or something.
Yeah, let's do that. Joe Rogan, you got some Conan coming your way, buddy.
Yeah, you got to send some comic karma.
You got some Barry Windsor Smith coming. Unless you like the magazine stuff. I see you as a Conan magazine guy, I think.
It's like the oversized stuff.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right. We do appreciate you, comic fam. We got to continue this conversation in the after show because we're going to share some embarrassing moments we've had when pressing. This whole conversation, I've been thinking about stories I can share. I got a couple good ones. I have a Witchblade story. I may share the Jess Pele story. But if you want to hear the after show, just head over to Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, or SoundCloud. This whole podcast is uploaded there with a bonus show. Don't forget to comment down below, hit the subscribe button, and like this video. Let us know like what you found on the hunt this week. We're giving out 2 different things this week. We have the Sab versus Sistine the Sick, as well as the Rogue San Diego Comic-Con variant that we are giving out, courtesy of Godly Comics. We do appreciate your time, comic fam, as always.
Geek responsibly.
Enough said.